feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride no
Before we get to Cardi B and Ice Spice, you know, I said this before, and anytime I comment on like say Adam interviewing the dude who killed Pop Smoke, like me and Adam got no beef, and I can't tell him how to run his platform, but I could at least give my opinion on just kind of like bro, we not peons no more. I know they keep trying to play Adam and like put him like number 22 on the list, but let's keep it a bean. The niggas who run hip hop and I hope they view it like this for anybody who's in independent media, whether it's Vlad, Adam, who else? Say Cheese, Our Generation. We're talking about Flacco, all of these guys. The mere fact they had to put me number one means we're number one. And what I mean we're number one is that independent media is number one. We're not just some little peons who's like, no, we control the narrative. That's the fact. Hip Hop DX don't control the narrative. Even the Breakfast Club, when it comes to hip hop, don't control the narrative. It's us. They were forced to put me number one. You get what I'm saying? And I hate to be sounding corny like I'm some Spider-Man shit, like great power, great responsibility, but we can't act like it was cool or not cool, but it was acceptable when we were seen as the ancillary places people came to look at or get their hip hop news. Now it's clear we're the mainstream. We are the mainstream. We got to think about it like that. We're the mainstream. No Jumper is the mainstream. Vlad is the mainstream. Akademiks is the mainstream. The Joe Budden podcast is the mainstream. It has flipped. Now everybody's gonna still talk, because we're still independent. We're gonna act like we're not the mainstream. But when we put something out, we don't give a fuck what iHeart does with the Breakfast Club. Respectfully, no shot sent. Right? We don't care about what Double XL says when Joe Budden says A or I say B. You get what I mean? Like, they're an afterthought. That's, again, no shot sent. That's just respect. All of that means that we have to take some accountability with, we can't use we can't use the scraping the bottom of the barrel thing anymore, right? Now, again, I just give my opinion. Adam can do whatever the fuck he wants. But I do look at it and I say it's a dangerous precedent, and I've said this before, and I know sound like a broken clock, when we're just interviewing people who have nothing to contribute to hip hop but the fact that they did a murder. They murdered someone that we cared about and someone who contributed to hip hop. That is a little bit problematic, because also here's the thing, and this is where I get into what I want to play. I heard Adam make a point, which I thought was a good point. I'm not going to knock him. He did make a good point. It's an important hip hop moment that people need clarity on. And I guess if we didn't get it from the courtroom, I guess rather than wait on a documentary, like, well, why can't a hip hop platform go get it? And this is where I kind of I feel like this is a stance I've heard Charleston White say a bunch. And this is why I compared it to like the Warren Chirac wave when I did it, right? Which I've said I could have done better. We have this insatiable appetite, and we have this just like fixation on the killer. But I'm pretty sure Adam isn't reaching out to the victims of the killer. And again, I'm not talking about in every situation. I'm talking about this situation. Like Pop Smoke's mother, who's trying to continue his legacy, who is actually the official spokesperson for his estate and controls his estate. She doesn't get that particular interview, but the guy who pulls the trigger does. Do you get what I'm saying? And that makes on optic level, it looks a little odd. Anyway, Pop Smoke mother did speak about a few things. She has an interview with Hot 97, actually. It's 8 days ago. And she spoke about, not only continue his legacy, how she's going through grief, but she later even spoke about hearing that there was an interview of the killer done. And this is mom right here. I believe she's Jamaican. And again, I think if you interview the killer who has nothing to do with hip hop, at least his mama got some stories to tell about how she raised him, how he got into hip hop, how she's trying to continue the legacy of his music. The killer only got to tell you of how he got up that day to fucking take a life. Which I think that's a story that's just not worth even glorifying, to be honest. Okay, especially from a hip hop platform. But you know, who cares what I think? I'll play a little bit what the mom says, but the mom does address that particularly with the killer talking.
The clouds moving.
Yeah.
Right? And just for the consistency of whatever the movement is.
Yeah.
Right? And something tell you if it's, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's a level of consciousness, and it takes time to tune into that. And I think this culture is always moving.
Yeah.
So I think that's what robs us of that piece of it, because we're always moving.
Yeah. And that's why I said sometimes you just got to be still to hear it, you know, and allow yourself to feel it. Sometimes I'll go on a beach and lay in the sand and just look at the sky and just close the world out to hear. You know,
and it's not that you're going to hear a voice. It's just that something that settles in you that you just know.
Yeah,
you just know.
Absolutely. Yeah. What has the forgiveness process been like for you? Have you been able?
There's
tough question.
Okay, I don't want to say there's nothing to forgive.
Right.
But I don't approach it that way.
Yeah, how do you approach it?
People ask me, and I know they're waiting for, you know, some stuff that they can hang on to. Look, I'm not ready to go have tea with anybody and, you know, go to anybody's house and have a meal. And I acknowledge the change that's been brought to my life and devastated my family. But it doesn't make sense to hold on to some sort of anger and bitterness that you can't do nothing with. Now, you know, the thing they say about forgiveness is that, you know, it's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. I recognize you. You know what I'm saying? I recognize what's done to me. And I know how I have to move. But I'm not going to hold on to something, because then you've won. You've eaten my soul. I can't let you do that. So the fact that those young men, because they were minors and adolescents when they did the crime, that by age 25 they have to be released.
Because I saw one was recently released.
Apparently so, and I really don't pay attention. I think the shooter is what they said. Okay, so, and if I was his mother, I'd be grateful, right? That he gets another chance at life and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not his mother. I can say, you know, for her, it's a good thing. She gets her son back. I don't get mine back, but I'm not going to sit in it, because sitting in it doesn't help me. This is hard enough. To sit in it?
Yeah. That's why I have to check myself, you know, because I get angry because I'm in media, and I get to sit and watch these interviews, and I get to see, because I know you and I know the type of woman of integrity, and we've had like our intimate moments off camera, breaking bread with each other, and it makes me so angry to see someone who was granted another chance at life do interviews and be so disrespectful and disintuned and disingenuous. It makes me so angry, and I find myself writing and like, you are scum of the earth, and then I just kind of like reel back and say, Titi, that's not the energy that you need to have. But it makes me so angry, and I often think about you and how you may feel, and if you even pay any of that any attention, or you close it all out.
I'm not tuned into that. It's not so much that I'm closing it out, it's that it's just not a part of my world. So I have people who will come and say, have you heard? You know, people will hit me up on, you know, Ma, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, what's the matter? You know, and I felt the way when you just said that he was being disrespectful, because I've been told that he's been interviewing and being disrespectful, and I got to let that go.
Yeah.
Because that'll eat me up.
Yeah.
I got to let.
Man, salute to this very strong woman, Pop Smoke's mom. You could tell she's trying to smile through the pain. She lost her son. You know what I mean? She's trying to not constantly just like be down, but you can tell it hurts still, just even talking about it.
Let that go.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is your life is over.
Yeah.
His life is finished. He's living. But if that's his approach to what he's done, life is done for him.
And that gives me chills because it's like we know this because we're at a level of consciousness and we know how we're supposed to operate as humans.
Yeah, no, definitely. I believe what the mom is saying is kind of true. Like she's trying not to have that bitterment and resentment, and trying to be detached from some of the stuff. Whether it's like caring that much about the sentencing of the people who killed Pop Smoke, because they have statutes in Los Angeles that says if they're of a certain age, they can't get life or whatever the case is. So she could be upset about it, but it's not gonna change. So she's trying to be detached. And she did make a good point. She's like, yo, if he's gonna try to restart his life, but live in the fact that he murdered her son and, not even approach that situation with remorse, care, or even consideration, he's someone who's forever going to live in that moment, which is a moment of death. So he's really not living at all. I think that's what she was trying to say. And I think that's a decent point. Yeah, rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Again, if you guys get a chance, you should watch this interview. It kind of tells. Charleston White ironically put me on to that because I think in hip hop for like the longest, we've kind of celebrated the person who did the killing. Yo, I'm smoking on so and so, right? Like there's so many people and it was such like a punchline in the song when we heard Tuka. Like nobody ever said, let's go see what Tuka's family thought about this whole thing and how they're, having to endure and what Tuka's mother feels, right? And Charleston White was one of those people who he would go find like the victims' parents or loved ones and be like, yeah, we want to talk to y'all. We don't want to talk to the killer because the killer's over here making all type of songs talking about, yo, I walked him down. I gave him 10 shots in the head. Now he dead. Fucking, we smoking on a pack. This shit hitting like crack. Like, you know what I mean? So, I think in hip hop, we definitely don't really pay attention to or care that much about the victims' loved ones and maybe the pain and hurt they're feeling while we listen to all these songs. And obviously, it's a torn issue because, shit, we all probably listen to some song that said we smoking on so and so, but we're not thinking about so and so like a person. We're thinking about it like. We're not thinking about it like a person. It's like you're not thinking about the pain that's associated on that side. Okay, I seen a couple y'all spam it. I thought y'all was trolling me. Y'all said El Mayo is